Welcome, Be a Light community. This is my testimony and autobiography. I am not done. To ensure that viewer discretion does not need to be advised, I will be keeping this clean and respectful so that it can be viewed by all ages and audiences. I also will keep the confidentiality safe of people that may have been in my past that do not want to be publicly mentioned. And with that being said, just take this journey with me, walk with me with an open heart. I pray that through my story, you will be able to find revelation with God. You will be able to find peace and hope for your future, and you will be inspired and maybe encounter God along the way. All right, buckle up. Let's go. So this guy took everything I had. Everything I had, this guy took from me in my mind at that time. Because I just had a child and I didn't know what I was doing in life. I'm broken. I'm very broken. My anger has spiraled out of control and I felt betrayed by everyone around me, including the woman that I shared a child with. And, you know, I stopped trusting people and I just began believing that money was the only thing that was going to not let me down and not disappoint me. And I want to stop again and I want to look back now, and I want you to remember in Hebrews where it says, keep your lives free from the love of money, because the Lord says, I will never leave you nor forsake you. So I want that to just Hebrews 13:5. I want that to be the key factor, the key biblical verse that we listen to throughout this testimony autobiography. So let's move on. I feel heartless. I snap. I'm leaving now. I'm out in the streets. I'm not even coming home no more. I'm gonna make this money. I'm gonna make this money, and I'm gonna find this dude, and everything's now about anger and revenge and just making money, because I believe money's the only thing that's gonna make me feel better. And I remember waking up 6 a.m. one day, and before 8 a.m. I had made over $2,000. So I did start to grow and make money and build an operation. And, you know, money was what I believed could remove the pain. So the more money I made, somehow in my mind, I kind of believed that the pain was going away. And I remember sitting and just thinking, man, my operation itself is just growing too big, and now I'm going to need help. So I want to make a point there. Some may not understand if you have never been through the experience, but growing up in the city, what you don't see is you don't see an adult that looks like you, that, you know, has themselves together. You don't see professionals. You don't see business owners. You don't see people that have developed and grown wealth and status and influence outside of drug dealers. Drug dealers are the only ones that we look up to growing up in the city, because we don't have other people to look up to around us. And that doesn't make it right that these young men and these young kids and us people that grow up in these environments choose these paths, but it is out of desperation, trying to escape poverty in the only way that we seem to know how, because that's what's around us. So it becomes a continuous cycle. You see it when you're young, you get into it when you're older, and the cycle continues, and there's nobody to look up to. So now in my case, my case, I actually had a loving household. I actually had someone to look up to. I actually had a solid foundation, but because of the environment around me, it did not make me understand or recognize that that's what I had. All I could see was my hurt and my resentment towards my parents because of the structure in my household that I did not want to be part of, because nothing else around me had that type of structure. So my lifestyle was later going to lead me to losing my freedom. And we're going to get there. I call this chapter Felonies and Freedom, by the way. Chapter 2, Felonies and Freedom. Welcome, Be a Light community. So now I'm 18, right? And I got money. And now I'm like calling my kid's mom up, and I'm, wanting to hang out with her because I'm trying to big man, show my masculinity. Look, I'm up now. I got all this money. I'm going to take care of you. Some distorted masculinity that is what we believe when we're young that the money provides us. So I remember sitting in the park, a few nights after we've been hanging out, me and my kid's mom, and I just remember I see this officer coming up, and I had drugs on me, so I threw him, but he was already in straight shot of us, so he seen me toss him out, and as soon as he pulled up, he comes and picks him up, and he told me to turn around, and I don't run from him. I'm like, why, officer? I don't have nothing. And he's like, I seen you throw it, man. Stop lying. And he pulls out the cuffs and grabs me up and puts me on the bench, and he arrests me. And I remember going down to the police station, and he's just interrogating me, telling me, this could be a lot easier if I just give him some information. And I'm like, nah, man, I'm just a small-time middleman guy. you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't give you nothing because I don't know nothing. And I remember after that happened, I didn't get no paperwork for a while. And I'm like, man, I guess it just went away. I don't know. I wasn't thinking. I'm young. I'm dumb. I never been through nothing like this. So fast forward, like another week goes by, and I get a call that she's pregnant. What? Pregnant? I'm about to have my second child, bro. I'm not a man. I'm not even home right now. I'm just running around the streets, partying, getting money. So, she's also running around. We're not together. She's running around doing her thing with new groups of friends. And, I ask her, like, well, what do you want to do? I don't believe in abortion. I remember the same house that I seen the two adults fighting when I was a little kid. When I was with my mom, that I talk about in chapter 1 is the same. It was my grandmother's house on my mom's side. And I remember, my grandmother even being, really religious and spiritual in the sense where she had one of those abortion kills signs in her window. And then I learned it from church. And, I just knew that abortion, it wasn't something that I wanted to do or believed in. But because I had the money and because she wanted to do it, I agreed that I'm going to pay for this abortion. And I drove there, and I remember passing out in the car, in the parking lot, and I remember her and her mother coming and banging on the window to get back in the car, trying to wake me up because I done passed out because I was under such immense stress because I was already going through so much, and now I feel like a murderer. What do you think I did? What do you think I did? I snapped out. I got deeper into, what I was doing. And, I looked at my operation growing, and I wanted nothing more but to make more money. So finally I decided I'm not dealing with her at all anymore. And I want to sit and basically tighten up my operation. I begin to basically put everybody on the block by saying, look, I will supply you with all the smoke, the cigarettes. I'll be out here at night. We'll party. I'm handing out money. But I'm telling everybody, like, I'm going to leave this with you. I'm going to leave that with you. I was leaving stuff over here and stuff over there. So I wouldn't always have to be in the area in which, somebody needed to be when they were calling me. They could just leave the money. They could go meet one of my other people, and I could continue to make my runs. The operation was getting really big. And for some reason, I thought that it was smart to do that right on my own street, right near my own grandparents' house. Such a dumb young kid. And that's why, for any youth watching this, you're not smart. You're angry. You're doing it for the wrong reasons. Your motives are twisted. There's a false sense of masculinity. But later, as we get through this testimony, we'll address these things because I still don't know any of this yet. So in this segment is where I'm going to have to give my beautiful, beautiful wife her recognition. Because throughout all these years and different things that I'm explaining to you, I met my wife. But I didn't know she was going to be my wife. We were really good friends. And, over all these years, I've been hanging out with my wife. And the thing about her was that she was older than me, and she had 2 children already. when I was with her, I felt comfortable because it was almost like reliving my childhood, because everywhere else I went, I had to be tough, I had to be strong, I had to look over my shoulder, I had to make sure there was nobody, you know what I mean, watching my operation about to bring me down. You know what I mean? I ran around with a gun on me, and I was doing all these different things. So my wife and her family and friend group made me feel like I didn't have to be that way. I could open up, I could laugh, I could smile, I could be more vulnerable when I was around them. So it was like my place of peace. Once I would get away for the day, once I would finish up, you know, selling all these drugs and running around and doing this here, doing this there, I would just go chill out with my wife. And you know what I mean? She's not my wife at this time, but we're just friends, and I would go hang out with her and the people she hung out with. And I mean, it would just be a good time because my guard would be down, finally, for the first time. So it was a safe place, you know, and as the years grew, I met my kid's mother, and then me and T, my wife, began to kind of separate and go our own ways. She you know, found someone else, and we didn't talk, and this happened many times over the course of years. And now I'm out here, I got the block hot, turned up, stuff going on everywhere. You know what I mean? The people's out on the block are counting on me to, you know what I mean, give them money, give them cigarettes, because that's what I told them I would supply. And then I see my wife, or I see T, because she's not my wife yet, and she's like, yeah, so-and-so has a place down here. You know, my husband that I was gonna marry passed away, and you know, I'm just like, wow, it's been a while, it's so good to see you. Yeah, I'm coming through there tonight. So I end up going down there and realizing that where she's hanging out at, they're just partying, and it's a safer place for me to move this operation to. So I moved this operation here, and I'm still busy hustling, running, getting money, and partying. We're just partying and partying, and then boom, one day I get this call. I go over, it's my best customer. I thought he was the most trustable customer because my ex-mother-in-law used to live in their house and babysit their kids for a while. So I thought, you know, them knowing my family and everything would be good. So they called me all the time for lots of money. I trusted them. So I go over, and there's some new people there that I never seen, and I did my business as usual, and I left. Come a few weeks later, I find out as I'm getting arrested that the whole reason I never got that paperwork from when I got arrested in the park was because they were setting up a whole investigation on me. And the New York City Drug Task Force, Detective Nasdam, they had this whole spreadsheet of like a discovery from all these times that they watched me make sales, make deals, all types of crazy stuff. It was a literal drug sting, and I was the one getting arrested. So now I'm becoming a felon, and I was scared after that to continue in these streets running around making money, because I knew that they're still watching me. So if I run right back into the street, I'm just gonna end up getting booked again. So I stopped, and I'm going broke now because I'm used to running around spending all this money. There's people that, you know what I mean, are relying on me, and they want money from me. So I'm going broke. And if the money is the only thing that you believe is gonna fix your problems, and then you get that money and the problems are still there, and then you lose what you gained, you're going backwards. And then me going backwards, I was angry again. I was upset. I was mad. I didn't know what to do. So I tried this. I said, you know what? I'm going home. I'm going to be a man. I'm going to take care of my family. I'm going to make amends with her. We'll get back together, and I'm going to get a job. It's going to be a sweet life. So I go back, and that only lasts maybe a month. And then now my son is always staying with my grandparents. And my daughter, my newborn daughter, is with her aunt most of the time because her aunt really loved her. So that gave me and her both freedom to still continue to run and do whatever we want. We were young and stupid. And that gets significant later on in further chapters, and we will get there. And with these, new charges, and I got to go to court, and I'm about to get sentenced, and, I had lost everything. And then they put me on probation, and thank God I didn't get jail time right off the bat, but it's because there was a loophole where they couldn't use everything that they had found. Therefore, the punishment had gotten smaller, because what I was supposed to have brought that day, I was unable to bring. So God, coming through again and just kind of saving me from a very life-altering thing. And I got probation. But see, one thing you don't understand in the inner city is they'll put us all on probation. You have the whole city on probation, so that every time you get a dirty pee or don't keep a job or you mess up just a little bit, they take your license, then they put you in jail. And then if you can't pay, you stay in jail. And once you get a probation violation, there's no way to bail out. You have to stay there for the time that your officer violated you for. So I got this first 3 months. And now I want to stop there again, because there's something significant that I learned about myself way later when I was looking back on these first 3 months. There was this little Russian guy there. And this little Russian guy used to always give me a hard time. He used to always want to, walk by my cell looking at me, and I'm on the phone, he's looking at me, he's saying slick stuff to me. A couple times we got face to face right about the rumble, and some people broke it up, but I realized something. This Russian guy had came here to this country illegally, built a family, had children, had a home, had cars, had all these things, and he got in trouble for getting in an argument with his neighbor and got an assault charge, and they were deporting him and sending him back to where he came from after he was going to serve 10 years. So I'm sitting here, this little boy, I'm here complaining, I'm whining, I'm crying like a punk, just crying about everything, my family, my this, my that. I'm leaving in 3 months. This person is looking at this little kid. And now looking back, I realized that I would have disliked myself at that time. Because I'm in here crying about 3 months when there's someone in here who's really losing everything that they had to fight to build here in this country. No wonder he was mad at me. No wonder he wanted to fight every day and was calling me names. But I couldn't realize that about myself. I'm just this young, dumb, selfish kid who doing everything for himself, who lost everything, who is broken, who has no real regard for anything real in life outside of the fact that I'm sitting here locked up. I'm not back out on the street. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm missing my kids. I wasn't even with my kids before I went to jail. I was running around, but I'm in here saying I miss my kids. And that can't be true when you're running around the streets and you do everything to get you put in this place. You can't say you love your kids and you miss your kids in that way. This man was working hard, building a business, and got into one small altercation, and now he'll never be able to stay here with his family again. And then here's me. So I thought that was significant looking back on my testimony. I wouldn't even have liked me, bruh. So, I got out. Immediately after I got out, I went straight home. I wanted to see my kid. So I walk up. I realize that she's in the shower. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to surprise her because she don't know that I was getting out this day. So I walk up the steps. My son sleeps. She's in the shower. I look at her phone. On her phone, there's like 3 different guys. What's up, love? Did you have fun the other day? Da-da-da. So I'm slam the phone. I'm broken. I wake my son up. I'm like, what's up? I see her. I'm like, I'm leaving, bruh. I'm leaving. I just was in here broke, alone, no letters, nothing. And you just out here running around with these dudes, bro. I'm leaving. All right? We were young, too. I don't blame her. I forgive her for what we've been through because none of it was her fault. I mean, I'm 19 years old. I'm 20 years old. I was 19 when I got the felonies. So let's just say I'm turning 20 this year. And, at this time I snapped. Like, I really, really, really snapped, bruh. I am this little kid. And I'm like, she don't love me. She's cheating on me. I was never with my parents. I'm broke. So, what you think I did? Like, really, what do you think I did? I snapped. And although I didn't go back to the streets to make money, I had to find another way to ease this pain. So, what you think I did? I started abusing substances. And now I'm running around. I'm taking E-pills every night. I'm waking up thinking about where to get the next ecstasy pills from. Me and my friends are running around, wreaking havoc. We in the clubs. We're out on the block late night. I see my baby mom come creeping by, hiding behind a car. I'm bugging out with the bruhs. No care for her, no concern. I just got arrested last week. I got arrested this week. I got to go see my probation officer next week. I don't think I'm going to see probation. So now I'm out here running around. You know what I mean? Me and her are completely split up now. My daughter's with the aunt all the time. And then I get kicked out by my grandparents. Why? Why they kick me out? Because I got my kids over here with me sometimes during the daytime. And I was out all night doing drugs and partying, so I couldn't wake up. And my grandmother was having to feed my children and bathe my children. And after my son was already there at night, I would pick my daughter up sometimes from her aunt, but that was even very seldom. But this one time I did sleep in, and I woke up to my grandma saying, "Get out." And she had a letter wrote for me and gave me the letter and said, "Get out. And then you could read this letter and you know why." And it broke my heart because it was her and my granddad in the letter explaining how they raised me and they weren't going to raise any more children. And if I wasn't willing to get my life together, they weren't willing to allow me at 21, 22 years old to have a place to live anymore. So I'm out doing real dumb stuff, man. I'm stealing like metal, scrap metal, not realizing it says York City property on it, dumping it at the dump, fine coming in the mail. I'm giving false IDs to officers because I'm so drunk. I'm forgetting years and dates. I'm telling officers I'm like 11 years old, getting arrested. I'm out trying to rob somebody for an ounce of weed. Got arrested. Didn't realize the cops are sitting right there watching the whole robbery. All over the course of 1 year, all these events took place. And now I'm kicked out the house, and I come over to T's house because I'm like, look, I really need a place to stay. And she's like, cool, you could kick it here for a while. Boom, we've been best of friends for years now. And that's when our intimate relationship really begins. Under weird circumstances, because she was also dealing with a circumstance with a man that she was with that now she has had her third kid to. And he's doing drugs, and his, family hit the lottery. So they're running around doing this and doing that, and me and her kind of connecting. But we can't 100% connect because she has other things going on. But we're learning that we actually have more feelings for each other than we originally thought. And now we've been friends for almost 9 or 10 years. Been through a lot together, seen a lot, and we're finally starting to connect in this intimate way. So then we're all partying one night. It was actually on my birthday. I think it was my 22nd birthday. We're all partying. And there's a neighbor who we believe we're too loud for, so he called the police. But he came over so that when the police got there, he could seem like he was partying with us. And immediately after the police got there, this guy disappears. My wife is drunk. She's not my wife yet, but my wife is drunk. She's aggressive with the police. My other friend, he's wilding out, aggressive with the police. A bunch of us run. A bunch of us, stay right there. And them two, my friend and T, my wife, get arrested. So now here I am. I'm kicked out my house. I'm not with my kid's mom no more. And who I am falling in love with, and my best friend who I spent my time with, my happy place, is not here no more. So I have no money. I have no car. I'm grown. I have 2 kids. I have no place to live because the person I'm living with just gets arrested. And shortly afterwards, I'm going to get arrested because I haven't seen probation. So now I'm on the run. Been on the run for months. Know when something does happen, I'm going to jail because I got about 8 times arrested since then. And I keep bailing out and, you know, like finding little ways to make it back to the streets because they're not seeing that I'm on probation somehow, some way. So I keep going through booking and coming back out, going through booking and coming back out, waiting for my court date, but not getting the probation violation because probation has not yet got wind of my circumstance. So we're going to get to a big part of this. And I'm just going to start really speaking from the heart here is that I went to jail. And when I went to jail, I knew that there was no way that I was coming home. And I'm sitting in pre-class, sick to my stomach, literally writing nurses' slips. And I remember getting moved, and I'm still thinking I'm so tough at this time. I remember walking up and finding my cell, and there's stuff laying on my bunk, and I'm like, hey, yo, whose stuff is this, bro? Come move your stuff right now. You know what I mean? Like I'm somebody. Big dude gets up, he comes up, he looks at me like, this little guy must be crazy. But he moves his stuff. Got on my bunk, ain't come out for a couple days. Then finally, I start getting paperwork. I realize in the paperwork that I have this choice. I could do this therapeutic community program called the Freedom Program, or I could do almost 2 years in the county. The Freedom Program will get me released in about 9 to 10 months. Otherwise, I would sit here for a lot longer. So I go to court, I get sentenced, I get moved up to the Freedom Program. Now, this program is really strict on the rules and the way that they live within this community inside the jail. And during my stay there, not only was it hard because I've never had that type of structure ever, because I didn't play sports, I didn't do no after school events outside of what I seen in my home. All I had to look at was my environment with no structure, chaos, craziness. So getting in structure was really hard for me, especially coming off the blocks in jail where you're wilding all day, cutting up, and there's no rules really that you got to follow other than lock in when they say lock in, come out when they say come out, eat when they say eat, get, you know what I mean, your wristband scan when it's time to get your wristband scanned, you know what I mean, med time if you take meds, like few little things, but no actual rules of what you can and can't do. In this place, there's actual rules, and we used to have to sit in groups, and I learned some of the most mind-blowing things while sitting in these groups. But this new dude came in. He's like 6'6", and bruh just keeps asking me, what side you rep? Every time I look, he's like, got his middle fingers up, he's throwing gang signs at me. I don't know why me, but he just chose to pick on me. And I was never really a runner. I was never really scared of nobody. So after maybe a month of going through it, I snapped one day. I'm like, yo, bro, you not going to keep on. Listen, what's up? I'm right here. We could do it. It was right after count. And, you know, the counselors seen it. The guards seen it. They stopped it immediately. The counselors pull us into the counseling office. And this guy looks at the counselors and says, I'm 6'6". This guy's like, you know what I mean, over exaggerating, said like 4'2", you know what I mean, and was like, I'll grab him and throw him all over this place, you know what I mean, and I'm just keeping my mouth shut because I know I need this program. But don't you know what happened was the counselors at the end of it said that it's time for you to go and kicked me out the program because they said I was too aggressive. You know what? This is my life. I am part of this. This is just what, you know what I mean, the price that goes into living this life. I'm getting back out. I'm getting my money. I'm no longer worried about none of this. You know what I mean? Nobody cares. There's no mail. I got no money on the books. I got kicked out the program. I'm about to be in here for 2 years. Like, I'm really losing my mind, bro. And I'm like, I don't care about none of that, bro. The hood's me. It's in me. It's going to be in me forever. What's up? Cruddy life. Let's get it. You feel me? Like, I'm ready to go out and I'm ready to tear it up again when I leave.